Right, welcome everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone present to this meeting in the Civic Centre, Planning Application Committee, 10th of February 25, and to those observing the meeting on Microsoft Teams. Fire alarm procedure. There are no drills expected this evening, so in the event of an alarm sounding, please quickly make your way out of the building. There are 3 exits from the room which members can use to vacate the premises. Please switch mobile phones onto silent or switch them off and take any calls outside the meeting room. Do not leave any possessions unaccompanied and/or report any unaccompanied possessions. Remember to take any possessions with you when the meeting has concluded or you leave the meeting. This meeting may be subject to filming or audio recording by others in accordance with the Council's filming protocol. Anyone who remains in the meeting following this announcement will have deemed to have consented to allow their image to be recorded and broadcast. Thank you. Agenda item 1, apologies for absence. Do you have any?
We do, Chair. Councillor Abs, who is being substituted by Councillor Coxhead, and Councillor Bell, who is being substituted by Councillor Callaghan.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. Do you have any declarations of interest? I have one for item 5 on the agenda, the stopping for the footpath on Burns Lane and Church Street, Warsop, is in my ward. Item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 13th of January 25. Could I have a proposer and seconder? Proposed Councillor Coxhead and seconded Councillor Hammersley. What it was, yeah, he's a substitute. Yeah. Did. Yep. Can we accept those as a true record? Show of hands, please. Those who are in attendance. Any abstentions? Any against? No, thank you. Approved. Move on to item 4. Planning application reference 2024-0628 HHA. Rear balcony facilitated by the removal of a conservatory and roof canopy, 9 Woodview Gardens, Forest Town. I invite the officer to make the report, please.
Thank you, Chair. Number 9 is a L-shaped detached dwelling situated at the western end of Woodview Gardens, a residential cul-de-sac. This application has been referred to the Planning Committee due to the number of objections raising concerns in relation to the original plan submitted, which indicates a wider balcony and a spiral staircase to the end. The scope of the proposal was amended during the course of the application to omit the staircase and reduce the width of the balcony. The proposal is now for a balcony to the rear of number 9, facilitated by the removal of the existing conservatory and roof canopy. The proposed balcony would be located at first floor level between the rear and southeast side elevation, facing towards the woodland on the northwest side. In terms of visual amenity, objections have been received raising concerns to the size, scale, and character of the proposed balcony. To the north and the east of number 9 is a piece of woodland surrounding the residential cul-de-sac. The proposed balcony would be located to the rear of number 9, would not extend beyond the furthest rear elevation wall of number 9, and would remain below the ridge height of number 9. Whilst it is acknowledged that none of the properties within the cul-de-sac feature a rear balcony, given the scale and location of the proposal, it would not be visible from the street scene or the neighboring dwellings. The scale of the proposal is also considered to be proportionate to the existing dwelling. As such, it is considered that the proposal will not harm the character and appearance of the existing dwelling and street scene. This is a photo of the existing rear elevation. So the conservatory will be demolished to make room for the balcony. This is the picture of the conservatory. In terms of residential amenity, objections have been received raising concerns to overlooking impacts of the proposal. However, as discussed previously, the concerns are based on the original plan submitted. The width of the proposed balcony has now been reduced by 1 meter and would set back from the furthest rear elevation wall of number 9 by approximately 2.9 meters. It would be screened by the host dwelling and would not face towards the neighbor's rear gardens and would remain below the ridge height of the host dwelling. Given the scale and the location of the balcony, it is considered that the proposed balcony would not result in a loss of privacy issue to the neighbors. Turning to the proposed openings, one ground floor window is proposed on the southeast side elevation to replace one existing high-level window. Whilst it is acknowledged that the proposed window would face towards the rear garden of number 7, the proposed window would face towards an existing tall boundary fence and would not result in an adverse impact of overlooking to number 7. It is considered that the other proposed openings would not result in a loss of privacy issue to the neighbors. In terms of overbearing and overshadowing impacts, given the nature, scale, and location of the proposal, it is considered that the proposal will not create an overly dominant structure and result in a loss of daylight or sunlight issue to the neighbors. Objections have also been received raising concerns to the accuracy of the red line boundary. However, the applicant has submitted a second amended site location plan during the course of the application, which depicts the accurate red line boundary. Overall, it is considered that the proposed development is in line with the adopted Mansfield District Local Plan Policies P6 and P7, as well as the guidance of the NPPF. It would not have an adverse impact in terms of visual amenity of the dwelling and the street scene, as well as the amenity of the neighbors. Therefore, permission subject to conditions.
Thank you for that report. There are no public speakers on this item. So I will invite members. Have you got any questions of the officer? No one's indicated. Could I have a proposer? Councillor Coxhead, seconded Councillor Hammersley. Debate mode, any comments? No. I move to the vote then, please. All those in favour, please show. Any abstentions? Any against? Thank you. That's unanimous. So planning application reference 2024-0628 HHA rear balcony facilitated by removal of conservatory and roof canopy, 9 Woodview Gardens, Forest Town, has been granted planning permission with conditions. Thank you. Move on to item 5 now, which is planning application reference 2023-0391 FPT ST application under section 257 of the Town and Country Planning Act 1990 for the stopping up of a footpath between Church Street and Burns Lane to facilitate the potential development on the site in association with the current planning application reference 2023-01834. I invite the officer to make the report, please.
Thank you, Chair. So this planning application is for a footpath order for the stopping up of an existing footpath between Church Street and Burns Lane in Warsop. It follows the grant of planning permission for the development of 19 dwellings adjacent to the Plough Inn. The committee will recall the appeal decision was recently allowed. It was something I highlighted in the previous meeting in December or January. So just for context, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit because it's not clear on this plan. So the existing footpath relates to 2 points shown on this site location plan here. So you've got in the site edge red, you have the location for the development site of 19 dwellings. So Church Street's to the northwest southwest, and then Burns Lane to the southeast. So the actual footpath itself is accessed from the plough yards that cuts between the buildings, and then point one is the beginning point, and then point two is where Burns Lane, where the footpath ends presently. So, as was previously alluded to, the committee previously refused planning permission for the development of 19 dwellings, but it was subsequently allowed on appeal, and essentially because of the planning permission being granted by the inspectorate for the development of 19 dwellings, the existing footpath would essentially cut through the locations of essentially three of these northern plots, which would effectively render the current footpath effectively unusable. So there is effectively a legal requirement for a stopping up order under section 257 of the Town and Country Planning Act to effectively, well, I guess, stop up the existing footpath because it would be usable. The access to the rear units, I believe, from the plough-in or Church Street would remain as existing, but the footpath in sort of its entirety wouldn't be usable. So it's recommended that it would be for the stopping up order. These are just some side photos showing that both. So this is the Burns Lane access to the southeast of the site. I think that, as I say, the general principle of the application is for the stopping up order. Planning permission has been granted for 19 dwellings, and it would remain. It would legally render the path unusable. So just another image showing the site access.
Thank you for the report, Dan. We've got no speakers on this report, so do members have any questions of the officers? Councillor Moxham.
Yeah, it's just a very quick one, and apologies for my probably misunderstanding this, but where does this sit in terms of rights of way and the laws regarding rights of way?
Thank you, Councillor. I think that this is an entire the process here. This is for the drafting. So there's effectively the planning application, so that the impact on the public right of way would have been considered as part of the original planning application. This is you can't vary or extinguish or stop up footpaths or public rights of way. I think this is it's an unregistered footpath, so it's not. I don't think it's like a formal right of way. I might be wrong on that, but I think fundamentally this is for the drafting up of an order, and it's under a completely separate section of legislation that the impacts would have been considered as part of the principal planning application. There will be another opportunity to comment on the formal consultation period. So, but I guess the answer to your question is that this is a separate piece of legislation, and it's not part of the planning application itself. That issue's already been considered. Hope that answers your question.
Any further questions? No one's indicating. No. I have a proposer for the stopping up order. Councillor Tempest Mitchell, Councillor Moxham. In debate mode, does anyone want to comment? Councillor Richardson. Councillor Stevenson. I said Richardson, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. It's no secret that I was opposed to the original application. The fact that it's gone, or the linked original application, it is very disappointing to see that it was granted permission upon appeal. The land was designated for commercial. Those who are in the area will know it's one of the last bits of land that would have been developable for commercial in Warsop. Nobody in the vicinity wanted these houses. They all wanted the land to be used for commercial. And so it's very unfortunate and very disappointing that this looks like it's going to go ahead against everybody's wishes after it was rejected at planning. Do question what's the point of having a planning committee if we if we reject applications and find that they come back to appeal and get granted against everybody's wishes. But there we go. Regardless, though, people who I have spoken to about this application more recently, after finding out that they had gone through appeal, are of the opinion now that it just needs to get done. The site is very much a mess, and I don't see how it goes ahead without this happening. Anyways, as has been mentioned, 3 houses there. The developer's not going to allow 3 houses not to be built, so it's going to have to go through again, probably against people's wishes. So we're supporting it reluctantly, yeah, that's my piece. So thank you.
Any other comments? I would echo Jack's comments. The actual footpath underneath the plough is being kept, so there's access to the rear of the plough and to the 2 shops, well, the charity shop and the cottages. So it's only the main footpath that ran through, and when the officers showed the overlay of the proposed development, 3 of the houses, the footpath went straight through them, not through the gardens but through the houses. So it's fait accompli, really. It will go through, but the actual stopping order, there's still going to be comments and a consultation. This is just to draft it up. So with those comments made, can we move to the vote, please? All those in favour, please show by show of hands. Any abstentions? Any against? That's unanimous. So plan application reference 2023-0391 FPT-ST, application under section 257 of the Town and Country Planning Act 1990 for the stopping up of the footpath between Church Street and Burns Lane to facilitate the potential development of the site in association with the current application reference 2023-0183 has been granted. Move on to agenda item 6, which is the appendices for human rights. Can I have a show of hands that these have been read and noted? Any abstentions? Any against? No. Thank you. That's unanimous. And agenda item 7, planning appeals decisions. Note there are no appeals for that period. Thank you. With that, I will conclude the meeting. Thank you for your attendance. Have a safe journey home. What for the for the, I've been told off. Can we have a show of hands for the appeals that were none? Thank you. Have a safe journey home. You thought 25, did you?